Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining the stream today. This is Will and I's weekly live stream where we have been cycling through the Masters of the Universe Art Challenge. Right, Will is on his way. Right, so I want to personally thank you guys for being so patient. Right. The intro is a little different because Will's got those assets and I don't, but it's all good. Right. So last week was a little bit of a bye week because Will was under the weather and I had a prior engagement where I was actually hosting a workshop for teens. So that actually went really, really well. So Will should be popping in very, very soon. In which case, I'm going to take the reins here. And if you're just tuning in, right? If this is the first time you're watching our stream, my name is Kenny Calderon. I am the owner and proprietor of Wilding Studios. And my co-host, who will be joining us momentarily, he is Will Playden, a very, very talented gouache painter from Australia. And we are currently illustrating and painting Stratos from the Masters of the Universe. Right? So bear with me as I get my water together here. And I'm going to start laying in some fills. Right, just some flat colors after I remove some of the graphite out of the paper. And drop this in. Once again, if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Happy Friday, and if you're joining us from Australia, happy Saturday morning. Get my brushes here. Let's see here, some detail brushes, and at least a round brush. Drop an eraser. Not embarrassing at all. I'm gonna set my brushes over here. All right, so I got them readily on hand. Before doing so, I'm going to pull some of this graphite out. So I'm going to use a kneaded eraser for that, so that we still keep some of the ghost lines in the form here, right? So I still have a guide to a lot of the values and textures that I've already laid into the artwork. So you just want to pull out just enough so that when you start applying your paint, the paint doesn't get muddied. So I prefer to roll it on. Right, so it's nice and even. Right, and you still keep a lot of your pencil lines. Adjust my camera just a little bit so you guys can see the whole thing there. Move my paint palette out of the way just a little. Perfect. Now, there's going to be some areas that I left a little rough. I'm going to clean those up with a regular pink pearl eraser because I don't want to confuse myself later with values that shouldn't be there. Let me take this off for now, just so it doesn't get tangled up in my hand. Here we go. Now, because I'm depicting this character in the air, I may want to stretch this paper just so I can like fill in the background with some nice blues and potentially some sun rays, right? Because I want to frame him in a way where he's ascending, right, and have some of the sun kind of peek through the arms here, right, and get like some sun rays sort of like beaming out from where the arms are. So before I start laying down any paint, I'm going to clean up some areas after I pull out some of this graphite. All right, so we get a nice decent value there that doesn't threaten to muddy up the paint. So now let's get my white block eraser. And sort of clean up these lines that I don't need. Let's set this to vibrate. Very good. There we go. Now, Stratos is one of those characters that has a very, very unique design. That in which that he doesn't have feathers or wings on his back. He's got like this jet propulsion like pack, right? And then the wings are attached to the gauntlets on his forearms. So I thought of a great, in my opinion anyway, I thought of a great way to sort of like frame the character using the wings and sort of a little bit of a kick up in the dust, right, below his feet. Let me just aim the camera out so you guys can see the whole thing. Excellent. Let's center this just a bit. There we go. So all I'm doing here is just preparing this for the paint application. This here. I'm going to taper down just a little bit, just so that I can prep this to be stretched. As a matter of fact, let's put this on a board. That's better. So here, we'll place a little bit of tape at the bottom. Now, under normal circumstances, I would tape this all the way around. I'm not going to do that in this case. I will do it later, just so that I can really get some cool values in the background. But because I'm just going to primarily focus on the figure right now, I'm not going to go full on taping this down all the way. Once again, thank you for hanging out with me this Friday evening, Saturday morning if you're in Australia. This is part of the weekly live art stream that Will and I host here on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitch. Just gonna take that down like so. Might want to get a little bit of the edges along the bottom. There. And boom. So once again, thank you guys for popping in on the stream. I'm hoping that you guys are either having a good weekend or your weekend is off to a great start. There we go. All right. So this should be enough right here just for me to start laying in some fills. I'm going to start with a big brush. Here we go. Make sure this brush is clean. Now I'm using Bristol. That's my go-to paper stock. I feel that it's the paper stock that's most diverse. I like to use different media, and in some cases, I like to mix my media, and I feel that Bristol holds up the best. So I'm gonna get this brush prepped. Right, we don't want to go super wet. Just kind of with that brush, get in there, sort of. Sort of give the paper a nice glaze. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with using watercolor and stretching paper, you're going to notice that the paper is going to start to buckle a little bit. It's totally normal. It's one of the reasons why we tape the paper down, right? So that as it begins to absorb the water and begin to buckle, it's not going to get like a ruffle potato chip, right? We just wanted to sort of like open up the fibers of the paper so that it becomes that much more absorbent to the different color glazes we're going to be applying to this piece. So, some artists like to really saturate the paper. I try not to do that, right? Because I like to work a little drier when it comes to watercolor, so that it sort of like maintains like more of a marker kind of opacity. Right, let's get in there. You want to give the paper a nice like sheen. So now I'm going to open up a reference of Stratos' color palette so that I can start with my fills. Stratos. If you guys haven't watched the Masters of the Universe on Netflix, I highly recommend. It's actually pretty good. Well, the first part anyway. I got mixed feelings about the second half. Mixed feelings about the second half. Bear with me, guys. MOTU52. All right, there we go. So, boy Stratos has gray bodysuit, red wings, red helmet, blue straps. All right, I think I can work with this reference here. Very good. All right. So when it comes to watercolor, with a lot of the media that you can't like sort of like cover up, like acrylic and so forth, right? When you're laying your layers, you want to start from light to dark. Now, being mindful of where your light values are going to be. In my case, my light values are going to be just about here, right? Because I want to get that nice crack of light, sort of like bursting out from behind him. So I'm going to start with my darker colors. In this case, it's going to be the gray bodysuit. Let's have some color around. All right. So being mindful of where my shadows are going to be dropping. Like in this case, we're going to get a little bit there, a little bit in there. Right. Definitely down the center. And kind of open it up as we move outward from the center. Right. Now, as you apply your paint, you want to be mindful of your ratio, right? Like in my initial glaze, I want my colors to be very transparent, right? So I don't lose a lot of the pencil work that I put in. And I like applying or leaving open some negative areas, right? These blank white spots, because they're going to serve me as highlights in my final render. Right. So right now I just want to pay attention to where my shadows are going to drop and where the light is sort of going to push that gray value away from the form. So we're going to get a little bit in here, a little bit in there as well. Now I have a sponge off to the side. You guys can't see. That sponge is already kind of damp. So as I'm using the brush and I'm cycling through my values, I sort of like dab my brush on that damp sponge to keep my bristles damp. So this way I can just grab some more paint and apply accordingly. Right? Now he's got these like really bushy calves. He's like almost gnarly taloned feet. Let's dab, apply a little more of this gray. Now I'm leaving some negative space in here, right? Because I want to be mindful of the texture of all of his hair, sort of like wisping about in his really fuzzy calf muscles, right? And get some of that shadow sort of like pushed down on the sides. All right, so there we go. Now A lot of this is just preliminary. I'm going to be glazing some more over this. This is just to kind of get fill in some large areas here, get like the base sort of color palette in. Now I'm going to move over to the blue. All right, and he's got some blue areas here. He's got the blue here in the pelt. He's got the blue goggles. So I'm going to transition here to this blue. I'm using a little bit of a cerulean blue. All right, just to start. All right. Actually, this came out a little bit of a turquoise, but it's okay. This turquoise will serve as our placeholder. A little more of this blue. Remember, we're working from light to dark. So it's okay if your values start off a little bit transparent or washed out. Because we're going to be applying various layers to it. A little more. Dab my damn sponge. Grab a little more of this blue. Get some of these areas here that are wispy. This one's a little darker, so we're going to get around here. It looks like the pelt around the leg a little. You can always come back in here, add a darker value. Right. Now it's important that you kind of eyeball where your lights and darks are going to fall, because you can very easily misjudge how it reads, right? Causing you to lose some of that ever important shape language that you want to convey in your artwork. Now, let's see here. It's got blue goggles. It's all right if we kind of cross over into the lenses a little bit. That's not going to be solid white or anything. I like using a little bit of the local color in there, especially when I'm using some glares. Yeah, let's see here. All right, red. So let's clean up the brush. Get ready to switch out. Now to start, I'm using a little bit of red orange. A little bit of red orange, just as my placeholder. I'm not going to go super bright. Get a little more paint on the brush so it doesn't come out so transparent. And lay in a very even glaze. I missed some of the blue that's from the goggles off to the straps there. Now it looks like he's got red feathers that pop up here as well. Gonna just very gently get in those. All right. So far, so good. Now, I'm gonna switch to a bigger brush because I gotta fill in these wings here, and the gauntlets are the same color. So before I do that, we get some of the drop shadow in here, right? Now I'm keeping in mind the light effect I'm going to be implementing later. So I'm going to be using some hard whites to get that nice like glare from the sun, sort of like bursting through where his fists meet. Now let's get the red going in there. A little more water. Perfect. So up here with regards to the wings, I could be kind of free about how I fill this in, right? Because, his wings are overlapping. Right, and there I am. I'm gonna go here. Let's get a little more water on the brush. There we go. Now here we have one wing. Use a little bit of water on the brush to sort of like move that around, even it out. Get the other side going. I'm going to fill in a lot of what we got going on up here, right? Wings. Things don't necessarily need to be perfect in this phase because, again, we're just kind of filling in the spaces here, just laying in some flat colors. We're going to slowly transition over to, you know, some shadows and sort of pull out some highlights here as well. We got the reds in there. We can get some of the skin tone in there. Add a little more to it. Now the goggles, I'm going to make that gray. I still want to give myself some room to add some hard blacks as well as pull out some whites if need be. All right, and now that a lot of this gray is already dry, I can go back into it and apply another layer. It's gonna come out a bit darker, which is what I want. All right, so we can convey some of these deeper shadows. So this gray that I'm using is a bit of a cool gray. So that I can use this very same gray to sort of pull out some more shadow values in his arm and in the blue elements of his. Oh, got a little bit of brown in there. There we go, much better. This, fill in some areas here. And some of that there. All right. Paying attention to the shape language, of course, right? Very important. We don't want to make like the curvature of like some of the muscle tone like appear flat, which is, you know, a very common mistake if we're not paying attention to it. Now, because I very much enjoy using mixed media, once I lay in all my flats and I start applying, more of my highlight values, shadows, and so on. I like to finish off the artwork with some ink, brushed ink, and some white ink. So right now it's just some flats, right? Leaving some room for negative space. We're going to come back and apply some deeper shadows where we need them. Now, one thing to keep in mind as well is when you're doing like fuzzier textures like hair or feathering of any kind, you want to sort of like brush your strokes in tandem with the pattern of what you're painting. In this case, like he's got these uh, fuzzy calves. It's the way he was designed, right? So my brush strokes will be sort of in tandem with the pattern of his of the hair. Oof, it came out too dark. Much better. And push this deeper into shadow. Get that into shadow. So for those of you that are watching that are going to be in the Miami area, my next convention appearance is going to be Otaku Fest, May 17th, the weekend of May 17th. So I'll be at the Miami Beach Convention Center all weekend. Come check me out if you guys are going to be in the South Florida area. I'm going to have copies of the recent tragedy manga that I illustrated that got published late last year. All right, from Filbo Publishing. I'm also going to have copies of my art book, The Art of Kenny Calderon, as well. And as always, I'm going to be taking your commissions live at the show. If you're interested in a commission before the show, so that you just come up and kind of pick it up. Pre-show commissions are always welcome and available. At the bottom of the screen, you can see Wilding Studios. That's one of my Instagram handles. You can simply hit me up on Instagram and shoot me a DM, and I'll get you taken care of. I'll get you set up. Now it looks like he's got, I can't tell if that's a beard. Is that a beard? Let's see what he's got. Let's see. Oh, it is a beard. Okay. That makes sense. Let's get some more of this gray. Get it under the chin here. Bam. So all I'm doing here is simply getting some of the feathering and the shadows in place. So that reads like we've got, a rustling of feathers or hair or whatever you want to call it. Down here in his calves. So then here, I'm going to push this leg back into space. Fill in this foot a bit. And we're going to get a nice light gray value on the top of the thigh here. Boom. Now I think I should get a shot of what the jetpack looks like so that I can get that filled in. And then we can do the fills for the sky and the dust cloud that he's kicking up here. So let me just get a good reference. This is where Will would come in handy, because Will usually has all of the reference on deck. So let's see here. Looks like that is also blue. So let's get some of this ocean blue. Put this ocean blue in here. So we can go a little darker. And this little strap in here. Now, these aren't going to be my final values. This is just preliminary. And the same thing that I did with the calves, I'm going to do here with the pelt. Right. Now, a lot of the darker values I'm going to be sort of building up towards the bottom, right, where it's away from the light. And up the center. Let's get a little bit on the goggles. There we go. Let's get in here. So now that we've kind of layered in a little bit of the gray, a little bit of the red, I mean, the gray and the blue, rather. Let's get some of the red in there. All right, so I'm going to use very little water, a lot more paint in my application. And get these little fins that he's got on his helmet. Now you can start to see, you know, how the buildup of layers sort of makes how the buildup of layers rather makes Stratos feel a little bit more rich and robust. Well, the good thing is that because I'm using watercolor, the watercolor is going to soak into the bristle relatively quickly, so I don't have to wait too long, but I don't want to overwork the paper because it'll start to peel. So I'm going to do just enough today to where this can sit and settle. So it's completely dry, and then we can attack this. We can attack the next layer on the next live stream. All right. Got a lot of these little shadow values in here. It's not there. On to the side. So now I'm going to drop a little more color in the skin tone. A little more color in the skin tone. I want to concentrate my darker values in the center. All right. Now, without any paint on the brush, using a round brush, you can make little circles and it'll sort of smooth out the edges of the paint. Give me one moment, guys. Sorry, guys. Had a little bit of a technical issue. But like I was saying, with a round brush, right? Round brush will sort of soften up the edges of the paint here, right? So we get a nice sort of gradient, right? So and then the blue. Get a little bit of that blue in there. Little details in there, right? Now I'm starting to get a little bit of tearing in the paper here, letting me know that I should probably give this paper a little bit of a break. Right? So I'm going to move on to another part until that settles in. Align these little areas here with a damp round brush. We can sort of soften and move some of that blue around. Now, because it's my intention to get some of those like light rays kind of bursting through there, I'm going to sort of soften this blue up here. Right, because I want that to reflect when I start laying in my whites. Right, I want it to feel like there's sun rays kind of bursting out there through the arms. So now I think we can get some nice coverage in for the sky. I'm going to go back to the cerulean. I've got some jet vapors kind of coming out of the pack here. Now, I'm not going to fill the whole thing in blue, but I want to get some nice blue coverage, right? I'm going to use some different values of blue in the sky. I'm going to, again, like the rest of the drawing, sort of leave some areas negative. Right, so it sort of like draws the eye in a single direction. Now, these are all just base layers that we can always like add on to later. Right. Now, I'm rendering this relatively quickly. I do tend to work really, really fast, especially when I have direction. I try not to noodle. Not that there's anything wrong with it. And in a lot of ways, noodling is effective and very beneficial to the drawing, especially when you want to convey some weighty values. But in my first pass, I like to just kind of drop in my values, my glazes rather, and then return with weightier values rather. And I don't want to start tearing the paper. All right. So I got my base blues in. The base blues in. Now I'm going to use a little bit of a washed out skin tone, my little umber here. For my drop shadow, I'm going to cool it down with a little bit of blue. A little bit of blue in it so that that looks a little too green. Let's add some more blue. Let's warm that up a bit. That's good. So now, right in here. Get some more of this blue in. Warm up the blue a little. Initially, when I mixed it, it looked a little green. So now, now the blue in my sky is in, and the dust cloud is in. I might try to sort of even out these little values. With I'm using a damp brush. There's no paint on this brush. It's just damp. So I can sort of like wake up the paint that's already on the paper and sort of soften up a lot of those edges. All right. A little more blue, sort of like cutting into this cloud here. Might be just what we need, sort of like help frame it a bit. All right, just little circles around these harder edges of the paint. Sort of wake up the paint, redistribute it, soften those edges. So I've gotten a lot of my fills in. I've started some of the value work in the art. So now I'm going to give this paper a rest, right? Just so that, I don't start to tear it. and damage it. But we stretched it out a little bit so where the uh, paint is very absorbent. But overworking the paper can sort of like ruin the quality of the surface. So we've got enough done in this first round of glazing, right? To where when we come back next week, we can continue to sort of build up a lot of the shadow layers, build up some of the details with the paint, and really the biggest part will be the feathers at the top there. That the rest of the values on the bottom of the artwork are going to remain relatively soft. So it's really just fills now. So I want to thank all of you for checking out the stream. I greatly appreciate it. Will was unable to jump in with me this week, but you can check us out every Friday around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm broadcasting from the East Coast, stateside. Will is over in Australia, so hopefully he'll be feeling well enough to jump on with me next week. So join us again next week, next Friday, for the continuation of the Masters of the Universe Art Challenge, where we continue working on Stratos. So on Instagram, you can follow me at wild_inks, INX_studios with a Z as you see it on your screen, or wild_inks, INX_Ken on Instagram. Feel free to shoot me a DM, shoot me a follow if you're interested in getting some commission work done. Commissions are open. They are limited, however, but they are open. So take advantage of that. And I'm also taking pre-show commissions for Otaku Fest. Those are currently open. And for some of my other offerings, you can check out my Etsy shop, also Wild Inks Studios. Oh, there's Will now. Give me a second. Ooh, I was about to sign out.
Hey, how we doing?
Oh, look who it is.
How are you?
Look who I was about to sign out, dude.
I feel like we've jumped on early, or am I late, or what's happened?
No, you're late.
Oh,
it is almost 9 o'clock.
That's bizarre.
Eastern Standard.
I think our timelines have shifted because it's only 5 to 11 here.
There it is. Yeah.
So we must have a time. We must have had a time jump.
There it is. Yeah, man. I was man. Something must be wrong with Will. I was hoping he's doing all right, and
he's on a no-show.
Look at how much I got done.
I can see that. It's ridiculous. I'm on pencil still.
So
that's crazy. So you've been going for what? 2 hours?
Hour and 15.
Have you got time for some more, or do you want to continue it next time?
Well, yeah. I mean, we can still check in on and see what you're up to, and give the good folks some insight on what you got going on, Will.
Well, I think I haven't looked at it obviously since we sat down and drew last time, because things have been a little bit hectic. But yeah, I think there's probably just a few little refinements I would make in terms of the form, but some of that I think will occur when I start to paint it out. I think, but yeah, but that's normal. That happens. You look at it and you make your changes as you're going.
Yeah. That's what I found myself doing before laying in some of my flats, like in this first pass.
Right.
I made some adjustments here and there. Things that felt a little better for the good of the art.
Yeah. And how are you?
I'm well, man. I'm busy, dude. Busy.
Yeah. It's a crazy time of year, isn't it?
Oof. You've got no idea, man. Well, you might have some idea.
I do now, yeah.
You might have some idea.
But yeah,
Yeah, man. I got some stuff like in the works.
yeah.
That I can't
Got any of it
really.
yet, or is it still top secret?
It's kind of top secret. Can't really disclose it on stream.
Yeah.
But it's looking very San Diego-ish.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
Yeah, but it's kind of up in the air right now because I
Yeah.
have other elements sort of unsecure, right? That once
Yeah.
I get like some security on those other elements, now I know how to move forward.
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of like C and D can't happen until we clear
Yes.
A and B. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. The cogs are going to fall into place properly. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really what I got going on so far, and just books, and I picked up another student, and all that fun stuff. All that.
Yeah. Well, better that than nothing.
This is true. This is true. Being busy is a blessing, I gotta say.
We've got to keep you busy.
That's right.
Your
That's right.
If you're on something I've spoken. Yeah.
I don't
Mel and I've spoken. We've got to keep you busy. Like there's rules.
Absolutely.
Right. Very good.
And how you feeling, sir?
I'm good. I got smashed in the head with a head cold last week, so that was a bit sort of slows things down a little bit. But
Right.
but sometimes that's meant to happen.
Yeah.
And then give the body a break. But yeah, sort of jumped straight back in all swinging this week, and trying to get some of those projects, underway with a bit of momentum.
Yeah.
So that's really good. But yeah, looking forward to today. I didn't realize I was nearly 2 hours late. I think our time zones have changed.
That's what I'm thinking it is, because we get daylight savings
Right.
over here. Hey, Charlie. Yeah, we get daylight savings over here.
That's what it is.
So I think we might be a little offset.
Because it's actually 11 o'clock right now.
I got
normally
you.
We would be right on right now, but yes.
I see. Okay.
So I'm late for you, on time for me.
Yes.
Story of my life.
No worries.
Late for everyone else, on time for me.
Yeah, because wasn't it? I think it was. When was it? Not last week. The week prior. The week prior, we had a little bit of a time jump. No.
Yes, because our one did that.
Okay.
Yeah, because we have daylight saving as well.
I see. Okay, so it shifts for you guys as well.
Yeah, which is bizarre. Is there parts of America that doesn't have daylight saving, or do you guys all do it?
Not necessarily, because I think it's more so for I think it's really about like the farmers and agriculture, right? So if the farmers have more daylight to do their farming, right?
Yeah.
But like, for example, in Puerto Rico, we don't do daylight savings time.
Right.
So it stays consistent year round in Puerto Rico. It doesn't shift.
Right. Well, there's parts of Australia that don't do it as well. And so they just stay sunny and warm all year long.
Yeah.
They're pretty consistent with that. But yeah, we've jumped back to early dark evenings and light mornings, which is nice. But it's good to have a change.
Yeah. For us right now, it's the longer days, right?
Yes.
So like it starts to get dark down here. About 8 o'clock?
Right. So that's your summer evenings.
Right.
Late summer evenings. Yeah, we do the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Of which I prefer, because Melly and I like to take walks after dinner.
Yeah.
So it's the time of the day is nice. There's not so many people out in their cars, so like the air feels different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And you can get something done. You get home from work, you can mow the lawn, you can go for a walk.
Some stuff done.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do a little more painting. I'm waiting for the paper to sort of like dry and set for a bit.
Recover. Yeah.
Yeah, to recover a little because I was starting to pick up a little paint. So
Yes. Yeah.
uh, I'm letting it just kind of set for a little bit before I attack it for another round, right?
Nice.
And
Yeah.
give it another hour.
Very cool.
And yeah.
So I'm
So
just putting in just the undercoats for Stratos's face.
sweet.
So just getting some of those flesh tones in there.
Very nice. Now, do you always start with like colder colors like your greens?
Not always. It just depends on I think it just depends on the face itself. Like if it's if it's in lighting that demands that, yes, I will
Right.
always do that. If it's in a shadowy environment, I'll do the blues. If it's in it just depends on the local color, really.
Right.
But I don't really go outside of the blues and greens. It's always one of those two.
Yeah.
I just think the colors react nicer to that.
Ah,
And because often I have blue um, as my secondary light source, so um, when I do the undertones of the blues, it's not that far out of the field when I start to introduce that left-hand side reflected light. It doesn't freak it out too much,
right.
or freak me out too much. It depends on how it plays against it. But so, like when I've done artwork like the Withered Covered, where I had two colors as my secondary and tertiary light sources,
Right.
and one was red and one was green. So that was interesting because that both being opposite colors, complementary colors, they clashed.
Right.
So in the middle, where that terminator line is, I
Yeah.
had to go with dark umbers and alizarin crimsons in with my skin tone to just deepen it down to the point where it was almost black, but
Right.
not black, because black just goes yucky if you just do it straight black. But see, that was my technical term for a Saturday morning. It just goes yucky. That's where my brain's at.
Now,
Sorry,
now,
kids.
now, that's something that I've always kind of struggled with regard to how and when to either cool or warm up a color, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
is it something that's predetermined for you? Is it something that you just kind of decide as you go along? But I'm noticing in the last few paintings that we've done together that um, you sort of have an idea of
Right.
of what you want to do with regard to, I guess, the overall tone of the art. So you know how to start laying those fundamental layers.
Like I would like to say that it's very deliberate a lot of the time, but it's not. I mean, for me, it's like I know this is going to be a fairly bright picture because he's in the sky, right?
Right.
So I know that the light source is going to be fairly glary on him as he's turning into the light. He's arcing into it. So I know it's going to be fairly light,
Right.
but that's about as much thinking as I put into it in regards to color. Like, I mean, I sort of that made me sound like a duller, didn't it? But I put a
Right.
lot of thought in the pencil drawing stage to make sure I know where my shades are,
Yeah.
and that then takes the stress out of the painting part. I mean, for me, painting was never a natural thing. It was something I had to really work hard at because I just struggled with color in doing it because I'd spent so long doing black and white pencil work as a portrait artist. Jump into color just flipped me out. And back in those days, we didn't have the YouTubes and the tutorials online just to see how other people did it. You just had to kind of figure it out. So my when I go to paint, it's not really predetermined in the sense that I know exactly what colors I'm doing as I'm going. Sometimes it's just an intuition or a feeling that, okay, it's that dance, like, oh, well, that's not quite working. Let's tip a bit more warm in, and let's put a bit more cool in, and that's what's good with gouache. It's forgiving that way. Watercolor is not. Like watercolor, you really got to know what you're putting down when you're doing it, because it's frozen. It's done, and oil paint's the same. Like I oil painted for years, and if you made a mistake there, you waited a week. Like it was, you stuffed it up. You were in the armchair waiting for some time. There's no hairdryer that you could throw on that thing. So gouache was a nice medium for that, because it does dry quickly, but it also reactivates straight away. So if something doesn't quite work for me, I can move on to another area, come back to it, loosen it up, or sometimes, like we're doing, leave it for a day or two, and then jump back in. So it's handy that way. Right. But if I am adding like a cool green or a cool blue to it, sometimes I'll start with my comfort areas first. I go, right, I know how to do this bit, so I'll do this bit first. That loosens me up. It gets my confidence in the piece already. And then I go, right, okay, now I'll add my reflected lights, or now I'll play with the blues in here and muck around with that. So, it's just a case of learning. It's failing, learning, succeeding, failing, learning. It's that whole process.
Right.
And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And you see that in lots of commercial artists. Sometimes they pull it off, sometimes it doesn't. Even people like Alex Ross, who's an incredible illustrator.
Oh, brilliant!
And
absolutely
really
brilliant.
has a command over color. But you can see where he's pushed the experimentation of his colors. Like, he'll go with bizarre, cool yellows and magentas to do a fantastic four-piece. And it will either work, or it will end up looking like a funny little transparency over color. Like, you can see where he's pushing that boundary, and I applaud that. Like, nobody wants a cookie cutter artist every time, but
sure.
So everyone's on the journey, I guess. But it's for me, it's I start with my comfort area first. If that's working fine, then I'll repeat that throughout. I go, right, the blues are working really well with that, so I'll keep moving throughout the piece in the same way.
Now, I noticed that a lot of painters, I use the same practice on occasion, but I noticed that the majority of painters will take the route of the underpainting route, right?
Yes.
Where they'll sort of like map out their lights and shadows.
Yep.
And then lay flat colors over the underpaintings, right?
Yes.
To get that sort of almost like if you were using marker.
Yep.
Sort of effect. Now, do you like being proficient in gouache? Is that something that you can do with gouache? And if so, how often do you apply that method?
So that process is exactly what Alex Ross does.
Right.
So he will, if you consider, I suppose, like a Mike Mignola sort of artwork where there's very strong blacks and not a lot of hatching to create the grays. You know what I mean? Like, it's extreme blacks and whites.
Yeah, it's very like he's got like hard borders between like his shadows and flats. Yep.
Yeah. So Alex Ross does the same thing, but he'll do it with the gouache. So he'll do what we've done. He'll do a rendered pencil drawing. Then he'll determine where his extremes are. So under the armpit areas, areas where there's extreme shadow. Some of that is for the dramatic tone that it gives, but also some of it, I think, is the economy of time for him. Because, you know what it's like. I could spend 3 weeks on this and really get paid for half of a week, in terms of the economy of time and how that works. And I know a lot of people think, well, you shouldn't consider, what your hourly rate is. But, sometimes when you got to pay bills, people demand money. I've tried painting apples. It doesn't work. So So he'll put in his blacks and his
Right.
extreme tones. He'll let that settle, and then he'll go straight over the top of it with his next layers.
Right.
And it's a very old oil painting technique. It's what the masters used to do.
Yeah.
They would put in their dark undertones, then they would paint over the top of it, and then they would do glazes, and they would build up their layers that way. So you can do it with gouache. I've done it in the past with gouache,
Mm-hmm.
but you end up, for me, I find it way quicker to just jump straight in,
Right.
because otherwise I'm doing the painting twice. So if I go through and
Gotcha.
render it all once, and then I'll go through and render it all again, I'm doubling the time at the table. Now, for him, I know why it works for him, because he has such dark areas. When he puts that color over it, that's it. That's done for that section.
Mm.
So if Stratos, for me, if I was turning into the light,
Right.
and this lower half here, or the upper half, went into
Mm-hmm.
shadow completely, then yes, I would probably go through and I'd render it in black and white, then straight over the top of it. But it's not. It's a very, very high key sort of painting. It'll be very much all in the light. So I see why it works for him. And you can see it in his the Marvel posters series he did. Remember that one he did where he did all the
Yeah.
characters? Yeah. And they hung it in the Marvel offices.
Mm-hmm.
You look at his Wolverine, for example. The Wolverine's one that I just remember because he did a video on it on YouTube. And you see the left-hand side of Wolverine's nearly all in complete shadow. So he
Mm.
renders that all in the dark gouache and then paints straight over it. So I can see the process of why he chooses the extreme lighting. It looks great.
Mm-hmm.
But and he doesn't do that all the time, of course. I mean, you see those other paintings like the Fantastic Four book that he did,
Right.
and it's all very high key like we're doing now. But you can see why he chooses that process for some of those characters.
I see. Okay. Yeah,
I
because
think that answered the question, didn't it?
it did because
Yeah.
I I would do that with the first, I'd say first two, maybe three rounds of sketch cards that I was doing for Marvel at the time.
Right. Yeah.
And I was happy with the results,
Yeah.
but then it got to a point where, like how you said, like, yeah, you start to feel like you're doing double the work.
Right. You're doing too much heavy lifting. It's
Right.
yeah, you're lifting too much weights for the picture. And I think too, it's if you're not careful, and you start getting a bit carried away with the washing and the grayscale, when you do go to put your next layers over it, it can flatten the picture out and make it a bit dull,
Hmm.
because there's a lot of grey undertones. You see other artists like Lucio Perillo do it with his oil paintings,
Right.
when he's doing his dynamite covers of Vampirella. And I love Lucio's work. I mean, he's amazing. But you see it, he paints his whole painting in grey, to start with, and then
Right.
he'll paint his oil paintings over the top of it, these layers of color over the top of it. But what it does is it tints the whole thing down, which is good too. I think that works well.
Right.
It's similar to what we're doing here with pencil, but he'll do it with grey oil paint.
I see. I see. Okay. Okay. Now, I've seen a lot of oil painters use the same process,
Yeah.
and part of me understands the idea of sort of like mapping out your values, or sort of like mapping out where your shadows are going to drop,
Right.
right? But I think that it makes more sense to sort of use that method when you're working with, a I guess, like a wetter medium, right? Like
Yes.
watercolor, like alcohol markers or something, right?
Yeah.
Because you have that transparency with your layers,
Right. Yeah.
you know that even with watercolor, I try not to use it too much,
Right.
right? I find more satisfaction in just straight up mixing the colors
Yeah.
that I want to use to convey those values,
Yeah.
right? Straight away. And I just find it a little more effective. That the only time for me personally, I like it. I find more satisfaction in applying those darker values later.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
But I mean, it's kind of like when you consider tattooing, it's a similar thing. Like you can either go from light key colors or tones to dark. We can go from dark to light. I mean, it just depends on what you're comfortable with.
Right.
You know, with me, I tend to like doing this. I do a mid-tone, so I like doing work in the mid-tone areas.
Mm-hmm.
And then I start to put in my highlights, and I put in my shadows, and then I do my mid-tones again, and then I hit it with the darkest shadows. And then I
Right.
do one on my final pass is when I do my highest of high key points. So if I'm doing like Stratos' helmet, like I'm doing at the moment, I'm doing the mid-tone red to start with.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll move into putting in the highlights, as in the lightest areas of the helmet.
Right.
Then I'll come in and put in my shadows. And once those three areas are determined, then I can start to overlay, excuse me, overlay my next layer of mid-tones to give it a real bit of strength in the color.
Mm-hmm.
And then darken my shadows, my darkest of shadows. So any blacks, I use black last. And then I do a final pass with my whitest of whites, just a hint where it might be a bit shiny in one area of the helmet, or there might be a glint off his glass.
Right.
So that's just the process I work in. And what I found, my intention when I started gouache work was I wanted the best of what I had seen in this medium from different
Mm-hmm.
artists, but I wanted it with a bit more viscosity, because I found that when I looked at people's other illustrators' gouache work, and it's not saying it's wrong, because I think what they do is beautiful. But
Right.
for me, I just wanted something a bit more solid, something I could bite my teeth into a bit more,
Right.
because I found that they were a bit washy,
Right.
which is a perfect. It's a correct application of the medium, is to do
Mm-hmm.
a wash, is to do washes of gouache, but you can also do it super thick. That's why it was a great illustrator's medium in the 40s and 50s.
I see.
So for me, I wanted to see comic book characters in gouache that had a real thickness to them. Like I could feel the texture, and I could feel the hair and the metal and the muscle and the steel. I didn't want it to feel like it's too watercolory,
Right.
you know. But
and and to that, like I one of the very first gouache painters I met was a guy that was working security at an old job that I had. Right.
right,
Old Italian guy, and he would make these caricatures of movie stars in gouache.
nice,
Really, really fun stuff. That I would ask him, because it looked like something that was done in watercolor, but like not quite. But then it could be
right,
like a really thin acrylic or something. And
yeah.
I asked him, and he was like, "Oh no, it's gouache." And I'm like, "Man, what is that?" And
What is this goo? What is this gouache? What is this
what is this gouache?
strange Kryptonian material?
And it was really impressive to see what he was able to convey with it. But I see what you mean, because he, like, his method of using the gouache was very washy.
Right, yeah, yeah,
So that's why I was curious as to what, like, when we initially started talking, I
yeah.
was curious to know what medium you used, because you used your gouache in such a heavy manner, right?
Yeah,
That it was very weighty, that I almost thought it was oil. Like it
right,
has oil quality.
yeah. But I think that's partly my background too. That's probably a bit of my issue of letting go. But
Uh-huh.
I like I like the thickness of it. So I want to feel like because I did experiment for a while. Like I mean, there's a few pieces I did early on where I would wash an area out and use colored pencil to go over and draw some of the bits I washed out. So I was trying to, like the Daredevil Electra piece I did early
Uh-huh.
in my gouache time. But it's I think it just over the time I just enjoyed the satisfaction of having it almost corporeally walking into my existence, like it's coming forward, like it's
Gotcha.
the thickness is making it there. It doesn't feel like it's going to just disappear like a ghost. So I enjoy that, and I kind of like how bold it becomes. Like that's what these characters are to me. They're flamboyant. They're bright. They're you can't avoid them. Like Superman should be like that. He should be this almost glaring pinnacle of hope. With his colors. By the way, happy Superman Day for this week that went by.
Indeed, yes, 80th anniversary.
Yes,
80th anniversary, man.
And today's Happy Alien Day. Did you know that?
I did not.
There you go.
I did not. Which aliens are we talking? Like Xenomorphs, ET?
Yeah.
What are we?
No, the alien franchise.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. So I didn't know it either, to be honest. It was only when a friend of mine who was an artist on the Alien books, Tristan Jones, he did a post this morning saying Happy Alien Day, everyone.
Oh.
Which I think's great.
Okay.
I'm glad that Alien gets a day. I live in a world where Alien gets a day. Everything's perfect now.
I love how how Geiger's work kind of has like bled slowly into different properties in popular culture.
Right.
His have you ever taken a look at his concept work for Aliens?
Yes. Yeah. I have. I had a book of his here once. I can't remember where I put it now, but it's beautiful. Pretty out there in a few spots, but it's beautiful. I used to have a calendar of his on the wall. But we'll just edit that month. We'll move beyond that month, shall we? That month is a bit too phallic. We'll just keep it.
Yeah. A lot of fallacy.
Penis pistols. We'll just keep moving. Yeah.
So I just found it really, really interesting because at first his work reminded me of the painter's name escapes me right now. He was the painter that did that image of hell.
Oh, okay.
Where it was like a room with all the stairwells.
Just trying to think. You're not talking about you're talking about a very old painter?
Yeah, it's a very old painter.
So you're talking about like Pieter Bruegel or Hieronymus Bosch or one of those guys?
Oh man, it's on the tip of my tongue. It is on the tip of my tongue because it's like it was it's a really famous painting that like got replicated in a manga that I was reading.
Oh, okay.
It got replicated in a manga that I was reading, and I was blown away that it was included in the manga. I was like, wow, what a deep cut. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it was one of those like horror mangas. You know what I'm saying? So the depiction of hell, where it's like these like donkey people with human heads and wearing like bowler hats, and like the stairwells led into the same room.
Right.
I'm forgetting, man. It's gonna bother me until I find it.
It's not Rodin, is it? Who did the sculptures as well?
Was it Rodin?
Did the Gateway of Hell with the Thinker? Wasn't him.
No, it wasn't him.
I kind of feel if it's doing that surrealism with the donkeys and the helmets and the
it was very surreal.
I think it's Hieronymus Bosch. I think that's who you're talking about.
Let's see here. Oh, he's a killer. He's a killer.
Not when you meet him. He's all bark.
Let's see here. I'm looking at his work. It's similar to this.
Right.
Very similar to this. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it another way.
Talking about Hieronymus Bosch, he was one that I used to teach surrealism with the kids at school because his imagery was so bizarre. But it's only been recently, and you'll love this story. Recently, in one of his paintings, the Garden of Earthly Delights, it's called, and in that painting, there's this bizarre section, a tiny little section where this person has musical notes tattooed on his butt.
Oh.
Anyway, so someone transcribed the music. Someone actually played the butt music and put it, and it's creepy as hell. They put it
butt
on
music. I love it.
Music. So if you look up Hieronymus Bosch butt music on YouTube, you'll find it. And especially when they play it in those old instruments, it's creepy.
You know what? You're absolutely right. It is Hieronymus Bosch. It's called the Garden of Earthly Delights.
Oh, that's the same painting. That's the one.
The Garden of Earthly. Yeah, it's the one with the butt music.
Yes, that's the one. we've had butt music alignment already this morning, folks. There we go.
There we go. It
was going to happen off the road at Hieronymus Bosch.
There it is. We'll pulled up a little bit late, but it was only a matter of time.
Still careened us off the road as quick.
There it is. There it is.
Oh, that's too funny.
Absolutely, yeah. It's the Garden of Earthly Delights by Hieronymus Bosch. Yes.
Yeah.
Because the element of that painting that stood out to me was that one guy just like looking over his shoulder. He's wearing a hat, but he's like, it's all this stuff that's falling out of his lower extremities.
Yeah,
it's like pouring out a toy box. You know what I'm saying? Like with Legos and dolls and just randomness.
Emptying it out of a casserole dish. I mean, it's just so much. It's a lot, and you look at his some of his I call them contemporaries, but they're not. They're all separate in time. But Pierre de Bruegel the Elder is very similar in his work. Like bizarre images of like the fisherman cutting a giant fish open, and then there's another fish, and then another fish, and another fish in the fish. Like it's just, and the knife is like something a giant would use. Like it's a massive carving knife that a human's using. So it's imagery like that. It lends itself to that Geigerish, surreal nightmare kind of feeling.
Right.
But a lot of those things back then were commissioned by the church to just scare the crap out of people to go to church on the weekends because that was their form of advertising. But it's interesting character too. What a great name. I challenge someone to name their pet Hieronymus.
Yeah.
Come to thee, Hieronymus.
Come forth, Hieronymus.
Come forth and assume your position on the couch to watch the game with me, Hieronymus. Yea, and verily.
I love it. I love it. Yes. I always said as a joke, if I ever get another dog, depending on the breed of dog, I would I would name it something really deceiving, like if it was like a pit bull or a huge like dogo or something like a mastiff, I would call it Sweet Pea.
Peanut. This is
You know
peanuts.
what I mean? Something really deceiving. You know, Hieronymus.
Hieronymus.
I love it.
It's a great name for a chihuahua. This is Hieronymus.
Hieronymus Bosch.
Yeah, we're pretty convinced that the next dog we get is just gonna have really boring, ordinary people names. Like
Tim.
Yeah, or Glenn. This is Glenn. Or Colin. This is Colin. It's like he's running the accounting department in my home. This is Colin from accounts. I think it's because I've been watching too much of The Office lately. I think that's what it is.
I love it. I love it. All that stuff has influenced the stuff that I do with Office Unicorn 100%.
Oh my god, it's just so funny. I can't stop.
100%.
I sit down and watch one episode and I'm 4 in. Like I just can't let it go.
Oh, of course. Of course.
So funny. I'm up to season 7. That's where I'm at now. And that's
Chris
no mean
Borman.
feat. It's like 50,000 episodes per season. There's a lot.
Oh yeah.
But, yeah, Will Ferrell's just arrived. I'm pretty excited.
The man, the myth, the legend, Chris Borman is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Chris.
Captain Chris Borman.
Welcome. Hope you've been having a good week, Chris. That your weekend is off to a great start.
Indeed. I don't even know how many people we got in the room, do we? How many have you got in the room?
We got 4 currently.
I might put a post over just saying that we're on your stream. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's throw that up now.
I shared it to a couple places. As a matter of fact, I think you might be able to share it from on your end, the tabs in the top right.
I don't know how to do that.
Oh no?
I do have it appearing on my Facebook, so I'll share it from there.
Oh, okay.
Share to feed. Here we go. There we go. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I shared it over to Artists of the Universe. It's live on my Facebook feed right now. YouTube and my Twitch channel.
Nice. Yep,
There
cool.
she is. There she is, Miss Yvette. Welcome. Welcome.
All right.
So, just for some quick context, guys, the reason why you may not have gotten the notification when we went live was because we're streaming from my account, right? Will was a little tardy to the party. Right?
tardy to Florida time. Yeah.
but to to his credit, it's because the time differences are a little wonky, right? So when it was like 7 p.m. Eastern time here in the stateside, it was actually really early for you guys over there in Australia. So he ended up jumping in about an hour or so after I was already into the stream. So he was able to jump right in, and we're off to the races. So we're currently on the tail end of hour number 2.
Yes.
It's good to have
Kenny's
you.
You've already had your warm up.
Yeah. I mean, look how far I got.
I know. which is not unlike you,
Look how far I got. I was like 40% done by the time you jumped on.
I contemplate mixing my colors and you finished half the painting. I'm like, what? What is going on?
I was getting ready to wrap it up. I was like, yeah, make sure you follow. Oh, there he is, Will Clinton.
I feel like I'm Stanley on The Office. I'm just what I'm just doing.
No worries, no worries. So yeah, guys. So just so that we don't, you guys don't miss out. The next time we go live, make sure that you follow me, Wilding Studios on YouTube.
Yes.
So that and turn your notifications on, so that the next time we go live, be it from my account or Will's account, you guys will be notified immediately.
Yes. Immediately. And you will drop everything and run.
Indeed. Indeed. Erroneous.
Erroneous. Just so you know, Yvette, the clock's already stopped. We are already been off the road. Like we've already
Yes.
careened, took out a few fence posts. It was all good.
That's it. All the small woodland creatures are no more.
Yes, gone, deleted.
Done. Chris says not much new here this week. Busy with work and no painting. Shame on you, Chris.
Oh, erroneous.
Absolutely erroneous.
Erroneous, Chris.
Absolutely. Well, I'm willing to let it go if you actually did like some sketching.
Yes.
If you did some sketching, then that's passable.
You might get a pass. Maybe summer school. We'll see. We'll have to talk about it.
Stay after class.
Might be a parent meeting. We'll have a parent meeting, I think.
Oh yeah.
Support group meeting. Team around the child. So what are you up to with yours, Kenny? Because I've got to actually look on my phone to see yours. So you're on the sky now, is that it?
Yes. So I'm gonna open up the camera shot a little bit. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of rendering some different cerulean values into the sky, because I want to get that burst of light from right up here where his arms are kind of like crossing over.
Yes.
Right. So I already kind of set myself up to get the light glare getting caught by his forearms, biceps, top of the helmet, some of the pecs, right? And I'm gonna have some of those rays kind of like bursting outward from there.
Nice.
So I'm just kind of thickening up the blue in the sky around the clouds.
Very cool.
Yvette says, "Dang, was it body parts? Was it body parts topics again? The body bits."
Yeah. It was Hieronymus Bosch and HR Geiger's body parts.
Yes, the body bits. Hieronymus.
It's like we're driving along. Kenny brings up a body part. We all laugh. I lose control of the wheel. We're in the ditch. That's what happens every time. Well, we can't do we're not allowed to do a road trip together.
It was 100% my fault this time, Yvette, because I brought up HR Geiger, and if you're familiar with HR Geiger, there isn't much that needs to be said.
No, I think it does. It does its own speaking, doesn't it? Really,
it does. That it does. It's like that. It's like that episode of Rick and Morty where they end up on that planet where all the aliens, the chins look like a pair of testicles.
Yes.
Watching that episode, I felt like I got into my dad's porn stash. Like I was like,
what?
Steady like looking at the door, making sure no one would walk in. And like I felt ashamed. I felt ashamed like watching the episode. Like I had to sneak it.
Yes. And then for a second you realize, wait, this is what my dad finds attractive. I'm out. I can't. It takes me out of the experience.
Absolutely.
Like bad special effects.
I'm telling you.
It's
The body bits.
the body bits every time.
So
And we celebrated Happy Superman Day. That's what we did.
yes. 80th anniversary of the Big Blue Boy Scout.
Yes. I can't believe we're heading towards the anniversary for episode 1 of Star Wars. Like, I can't believe that.
Ooh, is that happening already? Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. That's coming up in like a week, 2
It
weeks.
was like 90. Was it 99 it came out? Must have been 99. Yeah.
Episode 1?
Yeah. It was 99.
Episode 1, I think that was 9. You know what? Let me confirm that. I'm out
Because I
here.
know it's been re-released in cinemas as well to commemorate the anniversary. So
Right.
I don't know. So I'm just having to play with the reflection in Stratos' goggles here at the moment, because I do want a little bit of light source reflection happening in there. And some
Does
of that
look
I
great
will
so
come back
far.
and refine. I'll refine that once it dries, but I'm just putting in the light areas. What'd you find out, Kenny? Is it the anniversary?
Release date. Let's ask Uncle Google.
We got a vet here. What are we doing? A vet, get on it.
Yeah. May 19th, 1999.
There we go.
May 19th, 1999 is the release date for episode 1 of Star Wars. It's amazing how time flies, no?
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It does.
I remember the hype around that new trilogy.
Oh God, I was very excited.
As was
Yeah.
as was I.
How many times did I sit there and try to load that trailer from StarWars.com, and it took like 20 minutes to load the trailer?
Ooh, yeah. So
Yeah.
I saw an article today, as a matter of fact, as I was setting up for the stream, that Lucas is coming back to Star Wars.
What? No
Exactly.
way.
That's what I said. They're
Well,
bringing Lucas back.
how's that going to work?
I mean, does he even care? Does he even care anymore?
Is it a marketing ploy because things aren't going great? Like, is that what the plan is, or?
That's what I think it is. I think it's a marketing ploy. I think they're like, we need to drum up some drama, some interest.
Yeah.
And these next Star Wars properties. Let's bring the gobble gobble guy back.
Gobble gobble.
Yeah, dude, because he's got that,
He's got the turkey. He's got the.
he's got the the turkey neck.
But he always hit it so well with the beard. But I remember in the 90s there was that point where he came on and did the they released the video, the VHSs, the widescreen ones, the widescreen ones, and I couldn't believe how big the neck was. I was like, what is going on here? I was taken out of the experience again. This time it was his neck, not his collection.
Every time I see George Lucas's neck, I can't help but expect like a mutant to grow out of it, like in Total Recall.
Krang.
You know
oh, who was that? That was
mine.
Was it Quato or something? What was his name?
Something like that. It was like Quato,
Quail.
something like that.
Quail. Is it Quail? I don't know.
Open your
And he had Vaseline all over him. This is awkward. That little guy had a wrinkle.
Oh man. It's like
Yes.
Yvette says, "Here we go."
Because he did have the turkey neck for sure. Like, I mean, I used to look at that thing and think, what is going on? Like, what happened? He's got the
Chris says the Lucas Waddle.
he had the John McClane leg going. Yeah, yes.
The Lucas Waddle. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh man.
It boggles my mind because it's like,
what happened?
He's the only person I've ever seen with like that kind of neck.
Well, he had what was his name? The politician in the States. He passed away now. He's going up against. Was he going up against Obama? John. Was it McCain? McCain.
Yeah.
He had that big thing on the side of his head too, didn't he? Like that goitery thing.
Yeah, he did.
And he had to get it drained all the time.
Yeah, but it wasn't. I think it wasn't as like, I guess, pronounced as as Lucas.
No, Lucas has got that. It's almost like an Amazonian frog, like it would billow out.
It's like he's got the mumps and like
like he had a peanut allergy.
Yeah. I've never seen that before on anyone.
And like, I have to think to myself, like, the guy's worth like billions. Like, can we not get someone to look at it? Like, what?
Yeah, let's.
Like, money's not an object. Like,
let's get rid of the gobble.
It's not down to his $20. Like, you could get someone and look at it and go, well, let's just grow the beard longer, or let's.
Right? Like, let's let the beard, go down to the neck. You know what I mean? So you get like this nice full, the full Saint Nick going on, right?
Yes, yeah.
And we avoid, what looks
looking
like
at an
allergic reaction to a bee sting. Right?
Yes.
Chris Borman says the head Gungan had the Lucas one.
Boss Nass. Misa got big neck.
Lucas Waddle.
Misa gonna give you the unga bunga.
Oh man. I tell you. Here we go, guys. Here we go.
He does. He has the Boss Nass neck. That's right. All he needs is that face wobble.
Oh man.
You're killing me.
So, in other news,
previously,
yes, we've been eating pretty good, pretty good when it comes to X-Men '97.
Yes, I am all caught up.
Okay, you're all caught up?
Yep, I'm all caught up.
Oof, we've been eating good, let me tell you. All right, for anyone who's ever been an X-Men fan, the Claremont stuff, we're eating good right now.
Yeah.
I gotta say, whoever's the showrunner, whoever took over the previous showrunner, man, they care.
Yeah.
Okay, because the Easter eggs, like I find myself watching the episodes like back to back.
Right.
Like I'll rewatch it just to like catch all the little Easter eggs that I may have missed the first time around.
Right. Yeah.
And a show is good when you start seeing the fan theories pop up on YouTube.
Right. Yeah. People are
And
talking.
oh, we're eating good right now, let me tell you. And then I saw that Fallout just got renewed for season
Season
2.
2? Yeah. Yeah. That's exciting.
Fallout was spectacular.
Yeah.
Absolutely spectacular. And that one was full of Easter eggs itself.
Oh my God. It was, if you're a player of the game, and I played all the Fallouts. It was pretty up there. Like they had everything accurate.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
I
that was
mean,
good.
now I've only played, I think it was like one of the Fallouts. I think it was which one was it? Was it 3? I think it was 3. But it was so long ago that I wanted to like refresh myself on the lore.
Right.
Like some of the faction lores, right? And the show, and I started to see that due to the popularity of the show, there was a sudden surge
In the game.
of like Fallout players on Steam.
Yes. Yeah.
Like right up to like New Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. And the Fallout 76 live game is like had an influx of people playing it.
That's right.
It's very popular.
So Chris Mormon says, "You are making me choke."
Boy, boy. Poor old Jar Jar. Hey? Jar Jar and Boss Nass.
Yvette says, "I binged Fallout. It was so good. It absolutely was.
Yeah.
Absolutely was." And I later found out that it was Chris Nolan's brother that directed it.
Really?
Yeah. Chris Nolan's brother directed it.
Of course it was.
Of course it was. Which made perfect sense to me because sure, like the world of Fallout, it is relatively fictional, right? In concept, right? But a lot of the elements that felt fantastic and conceptual still felt really grounded.
Right. Yeah.
Like the main character, the girl, I'm forgetting her name. Coming out of the vault, she was very optimistic, right?
Yes.
And it was very indicative, and I felt like it was very well done the way she portrayed someone who's been sheltered from how evil, above ground would be, after said fallout.
You're right. Yeah.
And the shock that she felt like genuine, like seeing a lot of the wildlife and like seeing how, I guess, depraved, the environment was outside of the vaults.
Right. And everything's trying to kill her all the time. Yeah.
Exactly. I found her innocence charming.
Yeah. And they picked the right kind of actress, that doe-eyed sort of look.
Absolutely.
That really, super polite.
Absolutely.
Like that first guy that she met in the homestead that walks out in his underwear.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, "Oh, you got some water?" And she's like, "Oh, sure." And
he drinks all of it, smashes all of it. One hit.
You can live here. I'm going to die soon. All of this could be yours.
Yes. We could have a family. She's like, I'm good.
Like, no. Okay, looking for my dad.
See you later. Thank you.
I think the fanboy moment for me was at the end.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where he takes the power armor.
Yes.
And we get that last shot of him heading towards the tower.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? Like that was the fanboy moment for me.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see where they go in the next one. Like when you look at Fallout 3, that followed that storyline of you get out and you're looking for your dad.
Yep.
So, and then, then there was New Vegas and then Fallout 4. But it'd be interesting to see if they end up incorporating some of that into it. Because they've kind of borrowed from a lot of the franchise games.
Right.
So,
and I think they did it well. They did
like
it very well.
the salesman ghoul. I mean, clearly out of Fallout 4.
Mm-hmm.
But it'd be interesting to see if they introduce like the Valentine detective agencies and some of the other areas of the of the Fallout realm. It would be interesting.
Right. Yeah, like I noticed that he did borrow from like all of the like he wasn't tethered to just one of the games.
Right.
He like borrowed from all of it, but it felt very cohesive. It didn't feel forced.
No, it felt very fluid. It was good. It was good as good.
It was definitely really, really good.
Now, have you watched Shogun yet?
I started watching Shogun. It's really interesting, but it's like when I start watching it at the end of the day.
Yes.
And I feel like I can't watch it while I work.
Yes.
Because of the subtitles.
Too much. Yeah.
Because subtitles, but then it's like when I try to watch it, like at the end of the day, and like Melly and I are in bed, and we just kind of like put something on the TV to just kind of wind down.
Yeah.
Like
it's too it excites the brain too much.
It does. It does. So I'm gonna like start paying attention to it, right?
Yeah.
Start paying it, like I'm gonna block out time before Game of Thrones comes back,
right?
To like start paying attention to it, because
Right.
my cousin's been watching it, and he's been watching it with his girlfriend, and he says that it's excellent.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it.
So
I was curious to see. I know you're all over that stuff. I thought you might have seen it.
Well, I saw the first 2 episodes to completion, and the first 2 episodes do feel like a slow burn.
Yeah.
Of which is fine, right? I do like a good slow burn, right? Because I feel like they're setting up something really epic to happen.
Yeah.
Right. So it looks really, really good. All the actors like are just phenomenal so far. So I think I'm just gonna just kind of block out some time where I'm not painting or drawing anything, and giving my full attention. Because there was this other show that I was watching. I think it was Black Sails. You ever seen Black Sails?
Yes. Yep. A little bit of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Black Sails had the same sort of vibe to it, where it was a little bit of a slow burn, but like it was ramping up by like the 4th, 5th episode.
Right. Yeah.
So it gave me that same sort of vibe.
Yeah. Yeah. In comic book news, did you see that Jim Lee put out a thing about AI this week?
I did.
Yeah.
And
what do you think? Your thoughts? What's that?
It pleases me greatly.
So, what are your thoughts on that?
To see Mr. Lee, I think it was really accurate what he said.
Yes.
To say that it robs the joy of creating from artists, I think that was 100% accurate.
Right. Yeah.
Chris Borman says, when you say Game of Thrones, are you referring to House of Dragons? Yes, I'm referring to House of Dragons because I know it's coming back in like a month or 2. So I want to make to be fair, right? For context, House of Dragons is a show that I watch with my fiance, right? So like when we first started dating, I was a big Game of Thrones fan. I've been watching it since it was like airing on TV, like the new episodes. So she's never been into like fantasy or sci-fi, but she loves dramatic shows. So I told her about Game of Thrones, and she's like, "Oh, I don't know. It sounds, you know what I mean?" I was like, "Trust me," because she's not into like Lord of the Rings. She doesn't do high fantasy at all.
Yeah.
Right, but she could watch epics like Braveheart.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, trust me. Once you separate yourself from the high fantasy aspect, that's just a backdrop for all the politics that are involved in the show, you'll
Yeah.
enjoy it. Trust me. So then she started watching it. She immediately got hooked. Right. So
And then
right
the
up
red,
to,
then the red wedding, and then
yeah, like when the red wedding happened, it was before we started living together. I remember she texted me.
yeah. That was a hard pill to swallow, though. Like,
Oh,
I was
absolutely.
like, what are we doing here? Like, really?
Absolutely. She texted me immediately. She was like, "What the f? What
I
is
know.
this?"
I was nearly out when they got rid of Ned Stark. I was like, no, what is it? What am I watching here?
Exactly. I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be one of these shows.
Yeah.
Nobody's safe."
Nobody gets a hero moment ever.
That's right.
One of these.
Nobody's safe.
Yes.
And then she would like, because she was, she was catching up. I was already like on the current seasons,
Right.
and she was steadily catching up. So she would like ask me, because it's like, obviously Game of Thrones is one of those shows, that one of those properties rather, that you can't get attached to anybody,
Yeah. No. Ever.
like, at all. But I
No.
told her, but I told her about the cardinal rule. If you don't see a dead body on screen, they're officially not dead. Like, you
Right.
can't count them out as dead unless you see the body.
Yeah.
Right. So, she immediately got hooked, and it became a ritual of ours to watch, like, when she finally got caught up, to watch the newer episodes every Sunday together. So, like, she would cook early. I would get my work done. So, like, we would shower, and then, so, like, by like 9 o'clock, when Game of Thrones is about to come on, you know like, we're sitting on the edge of the bed. I got her this, like, throw blanket that I saw at a convention, that has all of the different houses from Game of Thrones. It's, you know what I'm saying?
Giant
She
print of George R. Martin's face.
absolutely, and we, like, snuggled under the throne watching Game of Thrones.
That's funny. That's great.
You know what I mean? It's one of the corniest things I've ever done with her.
Yeah.
And she totally loved it. So now, when they had announced, House of Dragons, she's like,
Yes.
"Oh man," she's already, she got hyped.
Did
So,
she enjoy it? Did she
oh
enjoy the
yeah,
first?
she
Yeah.
absolutely did. I mean, the incest kind of threw her off a little bit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The incest,
It,
was a
it's a
little
hard
like,
one to. Yeah. It's hard to
yeah,
watch.
it was kind of ick, right? But,
Yeah.
I told her, I was like, "Hey, this is Game of
It's what he
Thrones.
does.
You know what I'm
He
saying?
writes it. He writes it into everything. It's what he does.
This is what he does. You know what I mean? George don't care about your feelings. You know what I mean? He's gonna give you all the ick."
He's got his thing. He's got his thing.
So
My biggest shock. My biggest shock was like by halfway through it, it was almost like semi-acceptable. Like what?
yeah,
How
like,
can we be? How can we say? How can we be saying Jamie Lennon?
it became,
Go,
like, it
Jamie.
started to
Fine
feel
romance.
normal to you, right? And it felt wrong, but
Like we're
it felt
going.
normal.
Jamie Lannister. We're rooting for him. We're like, go. He found love. Wait a second. Wait.
Yeah.
Stop. We're all going, yeah, that's good. He found love with the knight, and then he goes to his sister. Goes to his sister, and I'm like, what is going on? What is going on?
I know. It just, it felt wrong, but it felt normal to you.
Oh, I felt like having a bath in petrol afterwards. It was just like purge everything off me.
I'm telling you. But yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Like,
she's
there was a few
really excited.
moments I stopped to go, are we forgetting the first season where he was caught in the tower and he pushed the little kid out and tried to kill the kid?
Exactly.
Are we forgetting this guy? Like,
Exactly. And we're kind of like feeling sorry for him. He lost a hand.
lost his hand. Poor guy. Wait a second. Not poor guy.
He had
Trying to
his
kill
little
a kid.
redemption arc. You know what I'm saying? And he was one of the people that survived the night of the walkers and such.
Yeah.
Form. completely forgetting how much of a scumbag he was for like the first
Right.
2-3 seasons.
I'm going to let you in on the secret. I never forgot. I held on to that. I was
Yeah,
like, what
dude.
is going on?
Yeah, like that was like supreme scumbaggery at its finest.
Yeah. Yes. And then they brought it in the new one, the House of Dragons. They brought it. Oh, we're doing the incest again. Okay. Like what
Yeah,
what is going on?
Yeah, like what, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, what are you doing, doctor? Because, you know what I'm saying? Doctor Who? No, that's your niece. You know what I'm
What are
saying?
you doing?
No.
Yeah, it's a bit rough. Yeah, a bit rough.
Yeah, but she, she digs it, and I I think it like kind of opened her up to like more like fantasy epics.
Right. Okay.
That like she had started watching what was that show? Vikings, not Vikings,
Oh yeah.
not Vikings. The Last Kingdom.
Oh okay. Yes. Right.
The Last Kingdom with Uhtred, son of Uhtred.
Is that the one with? Is that the one with Mark Hamill in it? Is he in that?
No.
Am I
That
confusing it
one.
with another one?
It's I want to. It was the one. It's a show that's pre-Viking,
Right.
right? And the main character's name is Uhtred.
Ah.
And it's actually a pretty good show that like she was stuck on it for like 4 months.
Yeah.
Like she was like, this is such a good show, like, you know what I mean? And I can't I can't, I can't get into just anything, you know what I mean? Like
You're a procurer. You're a
yeah,
yeah.
for the most part we have a lot of the same like interests when it comes to shows.
Yeah.
But like I know that she tends to go more for like the dramatic aspect,
Right.
right? I like a little more of like, the blood and guts, right?
Right.
So give
Yeah.
me a an epic fight scene, or that's really what calls more of my attention. She
So
likes more.
you prefer a gladiator over a Robin Hood? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Like I saw that they're bringing Spartacus back.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Like hell. Like
they're bringing, because it's gonna be a House of Asher.
right. Okay. Yeah.
So that like I thought Asher died,
Yeah.
but again, the cardinal rule: if we don't see a body,
That's right. And history be damned, which is going to make
history
stuff.
be damned.
I didn't mind the Spartacus series. I thought it was pretty good.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think like watching it now, a lot of the cinematics are kind of dated, right?
It's
Because
a little bit hard. I watched it a couple of years ago. I gave it a rewatch. I was like,
yeah, because
yeah.
it was off of the hype of 300 and everything
Yes.
that oh, you didn't know? My cousin Hollywood One just popped into the chat. You didn't know that Spartacus was coming back, big dog? Yes, sir. Spartacus is coming back, and it's going to be centered around Asher. So the character that we're drawing tonight is Stratos from Masters of the Universe. And this character, he's got like wings that are attached to his gauntlets, right? He doesn't have like wings traditionally on his back. He's got like a jetpack and stuff. So, we're laying in the primary layers to this art piece on Stratos. So yeah, Asher. It's gonna be centered around Asher. Apparently, the subtitle is called House of Asher. So they're bringing Spartacus back. And, I believe it's in production already. I do like the actor that played Asher.
I wonder if that's in alignment with the fact that they're bringing out a Gladiator movie.
That's right. Now, was it gonna be like a reboot or?
I don't know. I thought it was a. How can they? I don't know. They can't do a sequel.
Well,
What
no,
happens
it
next?
can't be a sequel because Maximus.
It's all
is dead.
done. It's
Yeah.
done. They could do a prequel, but
They
then
could do a prequel.
what do we couldn't be with the same characters. But I mean, the Gladiator time went for a long period of time. A lot of emperors went through it.
True.
Doing the Colosseum. So it could be anyone.
Gladiator is a sequel. A sequel to what?
Were you asking me or telling me?
No. My cousin says the Gladiator is a sequel, so I'm wondering what he means, like a sequel to what?
Indeed.
You good if I put you on stream? Absolutely. Let's see. Apparently it's gonna be The Boy. Oh, okay. That
the kid with the bowl cut. Oh my God.
the kid with the bowl cut.
I see
Okay.
dead people. I can't do that, kid.
I am intrigued. I am intrigued. But yeah, I think it may have some correlation with with the new Gladiator movie to bring.
Is it really Scott again? Same director?
I believe so. 'Cause I think that was who was that?
That was Ridley Scott, wasn't it?
It was Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
It was either Ridley Scott or his brother.
Diddley Scott.
Bo Diddley Scott.
Oh, man. Colin.
So Hollywood says the main villain's nephew looks like is going to be the villain, right? And Denzel is allegedly attached to it.
Denzel
Washington is allegedly attached to it, and yeah, Ridley Scott is directing. That sounds like a winner.
Yeah.
Because
the nephew who was sympathetic to the Gladiator, who helped to carry his body at the end of the film, is now going to be the emperor. Is that right?
So, well, yeah, because he was next in line. So I'm thinking, I'm on board for that. Because it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was Ridley's brother that did Man on Fire with Denzel Washington, and that movie was outstanding.
That was a good movie.
That movie was outstanding. Let's see, man.
I do love a good bit of Denzel. I wonder what role he'll be playing though. Obviously the teacher role. But it'd be interesting.
Yeah, I feel like he could be he might be like the leader of or like the keeper of a ludus.
Yeah.
Because
they can't get Russell Crowe back.
He's dead.
You can't even do a flashback because he also got a bit of George Lucas neck going on. I don't know what's happening with Russell Crowe. He looks like he swallowed the anaphylactic bee. Like it looks. He's very big.
Yeah, like if Denzel's in the movie, if he's a ludus, right, where and I think Tony Scott was the one that directed Man on Fire. And man, that movie was absolutely outstanding.
Yeah.
So if either one of the Scotts are involved, it's gonna be serious.
But Denzel's a solid performer. He's kind of like the Gene Hackman. Like whatever he's in, he's good. Whatever he's in, it doesn't matter if the movie sucks. He's good in it. You know.
Absolutely. Honestly, I don't remember Denzel ever being tied to a bad movie.
No.
Like he's had films that weren't as popular, right? Like
Right.
his earlier stuff, like what was that? Shoot, what was that one where he was the blues player? He was a trumpet player.
Hmm.
Was it Mississippi Blues? I think Mississippi Burning, something like that.
Yvette, which is it? Yvette, come on, Yvette.
I know. Matt, where you at? Yvette's like our photographer. Like
Come on.
She jumps in.
Is it Mo Better Blues?
Mo Better Blues. Yes. Yvette's like our woman in the chair.
Yes. Yes.
She's like, give me a minute. I need a minute. I've been redirected to Friendster. Give me a second.
She's the one in the van while we're doing the hold up.
Exactly.
Just give me one more minute. Just give me. She's hacking in with the earpiece, and you're just letting fly with a presidential mask on and an Uzi. Get in the van.
Get in the van.
Where's the van event? Just give me one more minute. One more minute. Running. We're running down the street just full speed.
There's a woman in the van.
Full speed looking for a vet, but she's taken off. We're running. You've lost a shoe.
Man,
I'm crying like an 8-year-old. You know?
They don't make movies like that anymore, man.
No, they should.
Man, like because Ronin classic.
That's a great movie.
You know what I mean? I think in this generation, man, like the prime actors, right? Like Denzel, De Niro, Pacino. You know, like those are some heavy hitters.
Yeah, and they're getting older.
Pacino. Pacino's already looking like a walking corpse. He's already looking like Juno from Beetlejuice.
He does look like he's out of The Walking Dead or something, doesn't he? Got the drop eye going on.
You know what I mean? Like,
the hoo-ah doesn't work anymore. Yeah.
You know, that the Pacino's nothing but like hits.
Yeah,
I don't think he's ever done a bad movie. Like I think my favorite Pacino movie outside of Scarface is
Heat? What about Heat? He was good.
Heat's great. Heat's great, but I think Devil's Advocate.
Yeah.
Is like my cousin goes, Jesus. This is what we do. This is what we do, Hollywood, every Friday. You know, about 20 minutes in, we go off the rails.
You didn't even get on earlier.
You know what I mean? So
by now you'd be desensitized.
Yvette says, I kicked myself out. Mo Better. She kicked herself out. So it was Mo Better Blues. Mo Better Blues. Right? And Chris says, Ricochet was the first movie that I remember Denzel starring in. You know what? Man, Chris, which one was Ricochet? Was that the one with Mark Wahlberg?
Just saying that.
No. Actually, that was Two Guns. I don't remember Ricochet at all.
Maybe Mark Wahlberg wasn't it then.
No. Wasn't Denzel on Saint Elsewhere? Was he in Saint Elsewhere? Because dude, Denzel was like Clooney. Clooney was all over, and Clooney really didn't blow up until he was on like I forgot what hospital drama it was.
ER. He was in ER.
He was in ER. It was after ER that he like really blew up.
Yeah, he's already great.
John Lithgow. You know what?
I
That
love
was
John Lithgow.
that was Ricochet, Yvette. The Denzel was with John Lithgow.
Now, he's a very underrated actor. I love
I
John Lithgow.
agree. I agree.
How good was he in Dexter when he was in the Dexter show? That was fantastic.
Oh, fantastic. You know what? Hollywood just reminded me that Pacino was in that Adam Sandler movie where Adam Sandler plays his own twin sister.
That's when you know your career's starting to reach a bit, isn't it? Like when you...
and they made my guy Pacino sing the Dunkachino song for the Dunkin' Donuts commercial.
when you're seeing Travolta start to dress up, and you're seeing that's when you know, okay, we're running out of roles. We're running out of roles.
See, that's right. See, Yvette confirms it. It was in the movie Ricochet with John Lithgow, Denzel Washington, and Kevin Pollak was in it too.
Ah,
Yes. Okay. Now I remember which one you're talking about. Yes. Yes. Ricochet. Yeah. In retrospect, I don't think Denzel's ever done a bad movie. You
it's a
know
big call. Big call.
that even De Niro, I think his weakest role, because I don't think he's ever done a bad one either. But his weakest role was probably Jackie Brown.
Oh, really?
Because
Not even meet the Fockers.
nah, because in Meet the Fockers, he was still like he still had presence.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And he was still kind of like a prominent character, and he had fun with it,
true.
right? But in Jackie Brown, he was more so of a side character, and I think that even though he was a side character, like and he played it well. Don't get me wrong. I think it was more so a question of I think Sam Jackson shined more in Jackie Brown.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Did you watch De Niro in The Irishman? Did you watch that?
Yes.
What did you think of that?
I thought it was good. I thought it was really long, but
Yeah,
it was good. The de-aging thing was weird for me.
it's not gonna age well, that film, when they do that.
Yeah,
If it felt odd now, like what's it gonna feel like in 10 years?
yeah, like the de-aging technology, like for that film, like kind of messed it up for me. Like it kind of took me out of it. But for the most part, I thought it was a great film.
Well, I just watched the new Indiana Jones the other day for the first time.
Wait, the most recent one?
Yeah, the Dial of Destiny or whatever it is.
Oh
And
no!
have you seen that? Have you seen that one?
I have not. I've been going in the opposite direction of that movie.
Yeah, I thought I'd give it a go. It's the last one, Like, yeah, look,
Yeah.
they tried the de-aging thing in that too. Like,
Oh no!
yeah, for long periods of it, and I'm thinking, oh, okay. Like, it part of my brain just doesn't accept it. It's like part of my brain goes, I know this is not real,
Right.
and I know this is an 80-year-old with a young man's face.
Yeah. Look, I feel like this. It was more practical, like the way they did it in the 80s and in the 90s, right? They would just
Yeah.
hire
And
an actor.
recast.
Yeah, they would cast an actor that had some favorability to the star, right?
Right.
To play the younger version, right? Like I don't
River
I don't
Phoenix. They got River
like
Phoenix play young
yes,
Indiana Jones. Yeah.
yes, like River Phoenix, like he was perfect, right?
Yeah.
And instead of doing this whole de-aging thing, right? Like for example, they wanted to bring back Mark Hamill for like a younger Mark
Yes.
Hamill, and I think that this guy Sebastian Stan, who's
Yes.
the Winter Soldier in the MCU, dude, he's a dead ringer.
He is, but the funny thing is, he's even older than Mark Hamill was when he was in the films.
Yeah,
but he looks like him.
Dead
which is
ringer,
weird.
right down to the chin dimple.
Right.
Right down to the chin dimple.
It's on the criteria sheet. Chin dimple? Yes, he has the chin dimple. Imagine getting rejected from the part because you didn't have the chin dimple.
That's right. So Yvette says, let's put Yvette's comment up. Jack and Jill, the Adam Sandler movie, traumatized me. I love Adam Sandler. Now to be clear,
Traumatized you.
to be clear, Yvette, I love Adam Sandler as much as the next guy. Okay, I feel
But
like
here it comes.
I feel like some of the recent Sandler movies are kind of hit or miss.
They're very
Right,
similar.
very
Very similar.
similar. Now, Billy Madison, I love Billy Madison.
Yes, Happy
Right,
Gilmore, Billy
Happy
Madison.
Gilmore, Little Nicky.
Yeah.
Shoot, what's this other Big Daddy?
Yeah.
Like Sanders had, some really good films. And even the dramatic one where he plays the jeweler. Uncut Gems. You ever seen that one, Will?
No, no. I was just thinking, like, a lot of his romantic comedies is the same sort of recipe.
Right.
You know,
So
the bumbling fool who's lovable,
yeah, he it's the same.
then
He
wins
plays
the
himself.
girl. Yeah.
He plays himself in every one of those roles. But if you watch
Yeah.
Uncut Gems,
Yeah.
that's probably like him at his best as a dramatic actor.
Right. Okay.
That I think the last time he tried to do drama like that was with when he did Spanglish.
Right.
But Uncut Gems, that was a hit, dude. Like I was blown away by his acting in that movie.
Like I'll admit, like when I see Adam Sandler on the billing, I'm like, I'm kind of good. I've kind of seen every variation of Adam Sandler.
Right.
I've seen him with, Drew Barrymore. I've seen him with Jennifer Aniston. Like,
Yeah.
like the only change up is the actress. I mean, it's the
Yeah.
storyline felt very similar. Like, I didn't mind him in Grown Ups because I felt like that was kind of a bit of a change up, a little bit, from being the hopeless loser that everyone loves, but then he finds his way. It felt like a similar story, but Grown Ups felt a little bit different. But I'd love to see him do something completely, like do a crime one, like let's just do a
Yes.
Ocean's 11 style or something, like something different.
Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing something like that too. So Chris says I hated The Irishman. Russell, tell us how you really feel, Chris.
I just want that first line, Chris. Just I hated The Irishman. That's my review. That's my review at the New York Times. I hated The Irishman. Not even a star. Not even one.
So he says Russell Buffalino lived
Hey.
10 miles from me. I grew up hearing these stories from my uncle who was a Teamster business agent. That's awesome. That is awesome. That like to get like the real stories from the Teamsters, that's serious
The
business right there.
inside story with Chris.
I'm telling you.
Chris should have been in The Irishman. He should have been there.
Yeah. Yvette says lost the plot a bit. And yeah, because it was one of those movies that like is it kind of drags out a little bit to the point where you're it feels like you're walking into a conversation. You know what I mean? Like you know why you're there, but you're out of context of what's going on in that present moment.
Do you feel like they were kind of he was trying to relive the Goodfellas days a bit?
Yes, absolutely.
Because Goodfellas is my favorite.
Hands down.
It's one of the perfect films. But do you feel like he's kind of reliving that a bit? He's trying to relive that a bit. Yeah.
Easily. Fun fact: the diner from Goodfellas is still there in Queens.
Yes.
As well as the phone booth that De Niro was at when he got the news about Joe Pesci.
Yep.
All right. That phone booth is still standing there in front of the diner to this day.
The one he kicks and slams the phone down on him.
Yes.
When they whacked Pesci. Yeah.
Still there. All right. Still there. So, Hollywood
I still love that explanation when he picked the phone up. He goes, well, what happened? He's gone. I don't know what to say. He's gone.
Yeah,
What do you mean he's gone?
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone.
He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone.
Doesn't want to explain it at all.
Yeah.
No, I can't be bothered.
He's gone. He's not here. Yeah.
I didn't even try and make up a lie. Like,
He's not here.
he's just gone. He's gone.
Nothing I can do about it. He's gone.
He's not even trying to lie about it.
No, he's not here anymore. He's gone.
Not he never showed up, or
You want to?
he's gone to Vegas. He's gone.
No, I don't feel like it. He's gone. So,
It's so funny. What? What do you mean?
he's gone. So I think that was one of the things that made like the Godfather movies so good. That language of subtleties.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That language of subtleties where it's like, it's very much show me, don't tell me.
Yeah.
Right?
He's gone. I don't know what to tell you. He's gone.
He's gone.
What do you need? What do you want from me? He's gone.
What do you?
I want the truth. No.
No. All you get is he's gone.
What do you want?
I can't.
What do
I gotta get off the phone. He's gone. All right, leave me alone.
He was desperate to get off the phone. Desperate.
I gotta go.
There's someone at the door. I gotta go. I can't. I gotta get that. Can you hear that? No, I can't hear that. But there's someone at the door. You gotta trust me.
Chris Morgan says, I didn't like Uncut Gems, but the one on Netflix where he was a basketball scout was really good. I heard that movie was really good. The one where Adam Sandler plays the basketball scout. I heard that was really good. So, like, just off the strength of like Uncut Gems, Spanglish, and that film where he's the basketball scout, I think that like Sandler's got like he's grown into some real dramatic chops.
Right.
You know what I mean? That like, we've seen him be the goofy underachiever, so much that it's like almost refreshing to see him like play straight for a bit, But, yeah, dude, like.
Sorry, I'm taking the mobster out of my head.
You can't get the guy like.
I can't leave it behind. He's in my brain now. He's gone.
Go. Hey, he's gone. What do you mean he's gone? He's gone. What do you want from me?
Nothing. I got nothing. He's gone.
Leave me alone.
What do you want from me? What do you want from me? Like
that's usually the follow-up. What do you want from me? Huh?
What do you want from me? That's why I love my favorite actor in that film is definitely Paul Sorvino, who played Big Paulie. Yeah, and just the way he carried himself. I laugh every time I'm on the screen when he's on the screen because he's just so good.
Yes,
just sitting there eating his sausage sandwich at the barbecue and just doesn't got the dead eye. Just doesn't. But the greatest scene is when they got him sitting down when the restaurant guy is making a complaint about Pesci's character because he's a psycho.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
When we shoot him in the foot?
Yeah, Ray Liotta's there next to him. And he's negotiating to get him to buy shares in the restaurant. And Paul is like, what do you want? What is this? What do you want from me? I don't know nothing about the restaurant. What does this guy want? Got a cigar hanging out of the mouth. Doesn't. And then he helps him. All right, I'll help you out. Then burns the guy's restaurant down. Burns it.
That's like the scene where they go to visit Joe Pesci's mother, right? And his mother's showing him her paintings.
Yes.
And they're like, "Oh, you're so good." And Joe says the line about the dog sitting in the boat.
Yes.
So what do you want from me? the dog's looking at him. What do you want from me?
There's one facing left. There's one facing right. Look at that guy. He's like, what do you want from me? do you need from me right now? And then they make that connection to the guy that just killed, and they're laughing about it. Kind of looks like a guy we know, doesn't it, with the white hair?
It's a guy we know. Yeah.
He's gone. He's gone. Just gone.
He's just gone.
At my funeral one day, someone's going to have to say that. You know, Will Bladen, he's just gone. He's just gone.
No shit. What do you mean he's gone? He's gone.
Not even at the funeral when someone's ringing around and tell people I'm dead. He's just, Will, he's just gone.
He's gone.
He's just gone. What do you mean he's gone? She's gone. What do you want from me?
What do you want from me? He's gone. What do you want from me? He's gone.
He's just deleted. He's gone. Oh my gosh.
Oh man. Let me see here.
So that was a long side road, Kenny.
Yeah, well.
Then while you painted the Sistine Chapel, you haven't talked about any art at all.
I think that when you're on, I slow down considerably. I slow down considerably, right? Because I feel like I've barely done anything since you jumped. Oh man. By the same token, I'm trying not to like scar the paper too much. So like I'm trying to be very, very sparing with the values that I'm applying to the piece right now.
Trying to get my tears that are dropping from my eyes not on the page. Too funny.
Once again, thank you guys for hanging out with us on our weekly live stream. For those of you that are new to the stream, we stream every Friday. Well, it used to be at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but we've been experiencing some fluctuation in in broadcast times as of late. However, if you follow us on social media, we will be posting the times that we're going to go live. You can follow me at wild_inks INX_ Ken and Wild Inks Studios, as you see it there on the screen. On Instagram, you can DM me for any reason whatsoever. And Will, you can follow
any reason whatsoever.
It's raining outside, Kenny. Just thought I should tell you.
Hey, Kenny, I'm gone.
I'm gone.
Just let you know, midweek.
I'm gone. Right. And with Will Playton, you can always find him at The Art of Will Playton on all social platforms. All right. Will, do you have any events coming up soon?
Well, no, not really. I'm sort of nearly ready to reveal the project I've been working on. So that's been exciting, and you know all about that. But that'll be able to be released soon. But at the moment, it's really just heavy in production. Just trying to get some of these projects and publications finished, and just trying to build our platforms. Like we discussed some of the future plans for this one, the Back to the Drawing Board show that we put on each week, and expanding upon that.
I used the new promo tonight.
Excellent. I missed that. I have to watch it again.
The new Back to the Drawing Board promo tonight. I'll play it again when we end the stream tonight.
Nice.
Yvette, thank you as always. It's always great having you guys in the stream with us. Like we definitely appreciate you guys tuning in regularly. It's always a good time. Having you guys kind of, participate with us and just hang out, and enjoy the hijinks, right?
Absolutely. One thing I do want to bring up too was our Dre Studios did his live unboxing of his artwork that he'd won on the show. So that was really good. I watched that, and we'll do another one for Stratos.
Absolutely. So on the tail end of this character, we're going to do another giveaway, right? We're gonna do another giveaway where we'll pick a winner live on the stream. You laughing at Chris? For the record, Chris, I make my sandwiches before the stream. Okay, I make
Oh,
I
so
get
good.
my snack in before the stream. Right. So yeah, we're gonna do another giveaway on the
God.
tail end of Stratos. So well, let's see what Hollywood One just dropped in the chat. Does the winner get a sandwich? No, not at all. No sandwiches for the winner. You make your own sandwiches. I'm gone. I'm gone.
Oh, I'm gonna get some
Right?
air in this room. I'm
So
dying.
upon the tail end of wrapping up Stratos, we're gonna do the whole, Wheel of Death thing, and we're gonna pick the winner live on the stream. In which case, Will be contributing an artwork
Yep.
from Australia, and I will, he'll send me the artwork, and this way I'll drop my contribution into the package and send it out to the lucky winner. Right. So, to be a part of the contest is very, very simple. All you need to do is follow us on our socials. Right. And when we go live, jump in the chat and say what's up. You know what I mean? So I haven't decided what I'm gonna do this time yet. The last time with Andre, Will contributed a beautiful Man at Arms head sketch, right, that he did on brown paper. Absolutely beautiful. And I gave Andre the choice of what he wanted on his original sketch card. He asked for a Dr. Doom. So if you go to our socials, like you'll see the artwork posted on our Instagram. So shout out to him for doing that unboxing live. He didn't have to do that, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful that he did that. So tail end the Stratos, we're gonna do another giveaway. I'm going to talk to Will behind the scenes on what he wants to give away for this next one. And
I'll probably do a similar thing, but I think what I might do is open it up to what the person who wins it would like.
Ooh, the stakes just shot up.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I might make it as a bit more tailored to what the winner would like.
I like that. Absolutely. Yeah. So the winner can commission something small from Will and I, tailored to your requests.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's a great idea. So yeah, Will and I will behind the scenes, chop up the details on that. So we're gonna do that on the tail end of Stratos. As you can see, you got a couple weeks. Well, I might be done before then.
But you could do a world trip and come back, and I'm still playing around. I'm still
you might have like 1 or 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
but yeah, that's what I think we're gonna do. You just simply follow us on our socials. Like if you're watching from Twitch, if you go to my Twitch profile, all of my socials are listed on there. If you're watching from Facebook, same deal. It's in my bio. If you're watching where else on YouTube, it's also in my channel bio. All of my links, right? So feel free to shoot me a DM from there. And Will, where else can they find you?
Like you said, so on everything, so Instagram, Facebook, and probably YouTube are the big three that I tend to post on the most. Right. Like I'm on X too, but I don't use it very much. Right. But just to add on to what you're saying, it just helps us out too to build our subscriber base on YouTube. So if you can, when you can, it always helps us to click the share button and to put comments in. All of that helps to move around the algorithms and to put the message out there. So that would be great. The more you help out, the better it is for us to keep the show going and to keep building the audience.
Absolutely. So what do you think, Will? We'll
leave it for this week.
You wanna cap it for this week? And
Yep, we'll cap it this
next
week,
Friday.
and we'll do it next time. Next time, we'll align our hours correctly.
The sundials will send the
Yeah.
messages out, and
I never even thought to consider your daylight saving introduction would interrupt our show times.
but no, we'll coordinate for next week so that you're on the live with me, and I'm not on here talking to myself and twiddling my thumbs and stuff, and everyone can find me.
I was just having a great quiet morning. I'd had a cup of coffee. I was slowly moving. I just have a hot shower, put the beard oil in, just took my time,
There you go.
Played with the dog, I've got time. I thought I'd come into the studio and I'll just send Kenny an invite. Oh, and I see Kenny's been live for 38 hours straight. So that's
but yeah, next week we'll get it together, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So shout out to everybody that's been in the chat. Hollywood1, go follow him. He's family. He's my cousin. He runs a gaming channel on Twitch.
Ooh.
Hollywood1 on Twitch, right? He just broke the 80 follower count. So shout out to him for that.
Nice.
If you guys are on Twitch, please give him a follow, Hollywood1. Shout out to Yvette, Chris Borman, all of the regulars, Charlie, who's one of my students. He's like 12. but shout out to him. He's a really, really talented cartoonist. All right, so thank you guys.
He's now watching Game of Thrones. We're really sorry.
Yeah.
Who is this Lannister character? Oh my lord!
Oh man! I think I just I play a part in like damaging that boy's like psyche now. With
that's all right. Look, when the parent calls come in when you go back to school on Monday, just say, "Look, he's gone. Kenny's gone. He's gone.
He's gone.
I don't know what to tell you. What do you want from me?
What do you want from me?
Turns it into an attack. What do you want from me? He's gone.
So, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Back to the Drawing Board. We're going to continue next week on Friday with our Masters of the Universe 52 art challenge. And thanks for hanging out. See you next week.
Bye-bye.